There's still some people outside. I'm just waiting for them to settle in. But it's fine. I think we can start. Good morning. My name is Chulexia Soul. I'm responsible for stakeholder and IGR. Can we not make it too loud, please? Just a bit soft. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's fine. Okay, I'm from SANRAL. I'm an employee of SANRAL. There's still some people outside. I'm just waiting for them to settle in. But it's fine. I think we can start. Good morning. My name is Chulexia Soul. I'm responsible for stakeholder and IGR. Can we not make it too loud, please? Just a bit soft. Yeah. Testing. Testing? No, it's too loud. Testing? Yeah, cool. Okay, so I will do I'm the program director for the day. We can start the program. Is there a pastor in the house this morning that can just open in prayer? Oh, okay, we can give him the mic.
Goeiemôre. Kom ons bid net saam. Vader, baie dankie vir hierdie geleentheid. Thank you, Lord, that you brought us together here. And I want to ask that you come and be with each and every one of us. Every discussion, that it be spirit-filled, and that we will conduct the business in the best possible way to bring honor unto your name. Amen. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you. So we're going to go straight to the opening and welcoming, and that will be done by Councillor Benjamin. He's the local councillor of Eersterust.
Thank you, Program Director. Good morning. I'm going to say all protocol observed. Thank you everyone who could make it today, for being here. And I just want to extend my thanks also to SANRAL for bringing some positive changes to our community, because we are affected by that which you are going to do. And I hope that this program will be fruitful, and the information we can take away so that we could use it in future. Thank you very much.
Short and sweet, straight to the point. Okay, so I'm going to do the purpose for the day. Why you all are here this morning. Does everyone understand English? Is English fine? Okay, cool. So, I'm a child of Eersterust, born and bred in Eersterust, currently not staying in Eersterust, but I went to school in Eersterust, Norwich Park Primary School. So I'm quite excited to bring this to Eersterust, because I know the issues affecting my community. I know that unemployment is quite high, especially under the youth. A lot of my peers are not working. A lot of them went to school, studied just like me, but they're not working. Many people that you and I know are really just sitting at home. So when I saw this project coming, I gripped it with both hands, because for me, it was quite personal. So I'm happy to say that I'm bringing something positive to the community today, this morning. And I'm hoping that you will also receive it as something positive that will change your lives. The project that we're bringing is quite big. It's something that you have never done before. So there's a first for everything, and this will be the first for you. So SANRAL, who is an agency of the Department of Transport, is responsible for most roads in South Africa. We've also inherited some local, provincial, and regional roads. The road that we're going to construct is the new phase of the Moloto Road. So you and I know that Moloto Road starts in Sefahomagatu, which used to be Zambezi Road. But the Moloto Road now will start in Stormfall. And because the road is going to start in Stormfall, between Eersterust and Eastland, it's affecting the Eersterust community and the Eastland community. So that's phase one. It's going to start in Stormfall, and it's going to end at Sefahomagatu, where the old one starts. So this project is going to bring a huge employment for most of you here. And it's general labor as well, so you don't need any skills. So I'm here to talk to you about what SANRAL is going to do, how we're going to do it, and how you can benefit. So I've already told you what we're going to do. Rian is also going to tell you what the project is about, and he's going to give you technical terms to that. So I'm here to simplify things so that we can all understand each other. So that's the Moloto Road. And it's directly at your doorstep. That means you can directly benefit from this project as well. So this is how SANRAL is going to work. First thing that I need to do is I need to establish a steering committee. We call it a PLC. So I'm hoping as we're sitting here, we all have pens and paper. Because what I'm sharing with you is not in the presentation. You need to take notes so that you can know exactly how things are going to unfold. So the first thing I'm going to do, I need to establish a steering committee. So the purpose of the steering committee is to ensure that whatever percentage has been intended for the community goes to the community. So in that steering committee, you want people that will have your best interests at heart, meaning your interests. People that will speak on your behalf and raise questions on your behalf to ensure at the end of the day that you are empowered. So I'm going to break it down for you. We've got a composition of our PLC, the normal one. But this is not just any normal project. This is a unique project. So I'm going to tweak the steering committee a bit. So what we're going to do is, because we don't have traditional and farmers authorities here in Eersterust, we're just going to pick the ones that I know are here. So whatever's going to happen here in Eersterust is also going to happen in Eastland. So the composition is going to be as follows. You as the community, because normally we'll ask the municipality to give us these people. But because the municipality is not here, I'm asking you as the community, because you know your community best, to nominate a person that will represent the interests of religious or faith-based organizations. That's a bishop, a pastor, a reverend, anybody that you know that's influential in your community. That's the first person you'll need to nominate. One. The second person will be a woman. So this will be a woman that you know is quite vocal, knows the issues on the ground, knows the needs of the community, and can fight for your needs. Two. The third person will be youth. A young person that you know is quite, revolutionary, quite forthcoming, quite transformed, sees the vision, strategic, can think forward. That's the third person. Somebody that you know can reason. I'm not looking for somebody that's just coming to make noise. I'm looking for somebody that's going to put the issues on the table so that we can discuss. That's the third person. And then the fourth person will be somebody from a taxi association, somebody that's going to use the road. So somebody in the community that you know is like a leader that will also bring your issues to the table as well. That's the fourth person. And then the fifth person is a community leader. Somebody with influence that we all look up to, somebody that has been here in Eersterust from the beginning until now. Somebody that most people know. I'm not going to say somebody popular, but I'm talking about somebody with stature, somebody that is quite influential. So those are the 5 people that I'm looking for that will represent your interests in the PLC, which is the steering committee. So those 5 people will also be duplicated in Eastland. Together, when they come together, it's 10 people. That's the first thing. So you are sitting here and you're thinking you know those people. You can send me an email. I'm going to share my email. It will be flagged at the end, or they can actually just flag it now. Somebody can type it out. Can somebody please assist by flagging my email address, somebody from my team? So that's the first thing. We need to establish a steering committee because, sorry, I see a hand is up. Disability. Okay, I agree. There's another hand in front.
Where's the other end?
No, I can't. Yes.
To represent us.
Okay. Now, let me put forward some things to you. Okay, there's a hand before I respond.
Hang on a sec, let me just get to you. Can you please stand so I can see where you are? Thank you.
Thank you. We've got, as I heard you say, seems there's no traditional leaders and stuff like that here. We've got our traditional leaders as well with us. And I also agree with the former speaker that say we need to bring up as well to empower the disabled people.
Okay.
Thank you.
There's another hand there.
Gizmo?
I just want to speak regarding the steering committee.
Yeah.
There are some few designated groups who have been excluded, especially cooperatives and veterans. Those 2 are very important.
Noted. So let me explain something and we'll be all in agreement at the end of the day. So the budget that we have is for 10 steering committee members. So 10. Hence I'm saying I've divided it into 5 for Eersterust and 5 for Eastland. So we must then be in agreement to say who will then represent your interest best, the 5. So I only have space for 5 people. So as you are seated there, you can then decide and you can tell me, this will be the 5 people that will represent my interest best. Are we in agreement? Okay, thank you. So I will then move on. You still shaking your head? Okay, let the mic go.
Hang on a sec. Can everybody hear this mic? The guys at the back?
Ma'am, if you say, it seems like you guys already made the decision by saying 5. You came to impose your decision on us. And what you have said is that you came to speak to community, right? And the community has a voice to speak. So all that I'm asking, please, man, let's not do those things of imposing policies on us. Please, because we are trying to find a solution. And when you speak about 5 steering community, we have those people, the traditional healers, we have everyone, we have them in this community. It seems to have been a while, it seems as no lang tyd wij nog hier gekom het in Eersterust. We have those structures, you understand? So all I'm asking, give the community a chance to speak and don't impose decisions on us, please.
Okay, so I'm not imposing, I'm telling you something that's written in our policies. Hence I said, our policy only accommodates for 10 steering people to be paid because we're working on a budget and that's the budget. So we can't change the budget here. So that's why I'm saying we can only pay 10 people unless you as Eersterust is saying we don't need to be paid. Then we can accommodate as much as possible. But the budget only allows for us to pay 10 people. And the 10 is 5 for Eersterust, and 5 for Eastland. And it's not me imposing, it's me bringing the policy to you. Pause, I'm continuing. Then the next thing we will need to do, yes sir.
Ekom, puta, hou vas.
Madam, with due respect, nah, as you have listened to what the former speaker revealed to you, I think whenever you maybe approach a community, please come with decision makers, to understand. Because if government make a provision, to understand, for people with disabilities, veterans and stuff like that, might participate, to understand, then you as well, to understand, you must adopt it. You cannot come to us and say, your budget, to understand, your budget. We nothing to do with your budget. We want you to endorse the disabled people as well, the veterans and stuff like that. We never say even, we don't want you. Thank you, my leader. Thanks.
Thank you, Chair. I am one of, and good morning. I am one of the board members of SANRAL. You will know others when they are introduced. Program Director, we are rising here to try and assist so that we can move forward. The reason why I am trying to intervene is, or are the following. One, a steering committee is a committee that is coordinating, and a committee that interacts with other stakeholders whilst the project is continuing or taking place. The other thing, military veterans are part of the groups that are targeted as potential beneficiaries. Now, people with disabilities, they're previously disadvantaged. All those, when a presentation is made, you will pick up that that is the target or the targeted group. The other thing, Chair, we are not here to impose anything. We are here to communicate. But then what we cannot do is to do something that we know is wrong and promise you that we will change the steering committee and amend a policy here. But that is not us. And we can't come here and tell you lies. The best thing is that we can rather not agree, but then you will be knowing the truth. It's better to be told the truth and not to agree with that truth being told. Because policies of SANRAL are not amended in community engagements. There is a process that needs to be embarked on. there is a time when policies are amended. So we just wanted to intervene, Program Director, and ensure that we clarify some of these things so that communities, when you're making input, you must make input knowing that there are things that we are unable to do right here and now. Not that we don't want to, but they are done in a certain way, and there is a certain period when things have to be done. Thank you, Program Director.
Okay, so I think we should then park it. We will have an engagement further to resolve this. But I just wanted to give you the entire composition of our PLC, then so that when you go and think about it, you can apply your minds, and then we can have a further discussion. So in the steering committee, the first 3 people is SANRAL. SANRAL is represented by the project manager, by the contractor, and the consultant. That's SANRAL. Then it's the municipality. The municipality is represented by the Office of the LED, which is Local Economic Development, and Roads and Transport. Those people represent the municipality. Then any other stakeholder. It will be women, youth, people with disability, military veterans, traditional or tribal council, farmers association, taxi association, transport forums like your public or road safety, which is normally a traffic officer. Then we also have a retired teacher or a principal, and we also have religious or faith-based group. Those are the 10 structures. But because, so that would have been if I just came to Eersterust and Eersterust alone was affected. I would have come to you and said, okay, I need 10 people, and these are the composition. But because 2 communities are affected, we needed to break up the amount equally so that we give 5 to Eersterust and 5 to Eastland. So we can then decide how are we going to break that up, but we can have another discussion about that. I was just giving it so that you can apply your mind, so that in the next engagement we can discuss it further. That would have been the first thing. Then the second thing is, I would need to appoint a PLO. Some of you refer to it as a CLO, but it's a project liaison officer. Again, the budget only has 1 person to be appointed, and we pay that person a salary of 10,000 rand. Again, 2 communities are affected, and we only have 1 budget. And because the person from Eastland will not know the issues affecting Eersterust, so too the person from Eersterust would not know the issues affecting the community of Eastland. We have also decided to split the 10,000 rand in 2. So we will have 2 PLOs for the project. And I'm hoping that you understand the reasoning behind it. So instead of appointing 1 PLO and paying them 10,000 rand, we will appoint 2 PLOs and pay them each 5,000 rand. That will be the second thing that we will need to do. Then I've noted your hand, I'll give you an opportunity just now. Then the third thing we are going to do is we're going to have an SMME workshop so that we can workshop you about the project that's coming, so that you all know what will be required of you and how you go about accessing those opportunities. So we will unfold everything to the community to show you that this is when we're going to advertise, this is when we're going to recruit labor, and always know that we recruit labor from the affected wards. So in this case, labor will be recruited from Eersterust and from Eastland. Once the project manager knows how many laborers will be required, we will engage. What we need to be in agreement with today is to say how we go about recruiting labor. So it's the how process that most communities are struggling with, because we as SANRAL want a process that is fair and transparent. I don't want a process where we say the ward council will give me a list, because we all know that that's not a trusted list according to most communities. So I'm saying, if you say you prefer the ward councillor to give me the laborers, I'm with that. I don't have an objection. But if you say no, we want the labor to be advertised, we can also advertise. Or we want the labor to be a raffle. That means all of you come, you put in your ID into a container, and then we'll draw names. So you can tell me which process you prefer. That will be the process that will be documented. So those are the three things that I thought we need to engage on. So I'm done with my part. I've told you how SANRAL is going to work, and that is exactly how SANRAL is going to work. I just need to take one step back. I have forgotten to introduce the people that I came with this morning, because someone else was supposed to do the introduction. So I'll do the introductions. Like I said, I'm Chulex's Soul. I'm responsible for stakeholder. With me, I'm going to start here in front. This is the ward councillor, Benjamin. This is Lishan, the lady here on my left. Her name is Lishan. She is from Cidb. She will also give you a presentation as well. Oakley van Eyck is the project manager for the routine road maintenance. So what happens is, when Rian is done with the new Moloto Road, that's Rian. He's the project manager for the Moloto Road. When Rian is done with the new Moloto Road, Oakley van Eyck will take over and it will become a maintenance project. So Oakley van Eyck will also tell you how the maintenance project is going to work. Then here in front, I've got Mr. Matosa. He's a board member of SANRAL. So I've brought with me senior people. If you've never seen any board members of any entity of a government, I'm bringing them. Here they are. Mr. Matosa is a board member of SANRAL. Here's the chairperson of the board of SANRAL. This is Mr. Mhambi. He's my chairperson. I've got Mr. Makubela. He's also a board member of SANRAL. So I've got 3 board members from the agency of SANRAL. That's how seriously we're taking this project and the community as well. I've already shown you Rian. Rian is the project manager for the Moloto Road as well. From my side, those were the introductions. I'm done with my presentations. I'm not sure if there's questions. Okay, there's questions there.
Where's the end?
Hallo.
Hi.
Ek gaan sommer straight Afrikaans doen.
Okay.
Ek wil net vra man, het julle funding gaan soek vir die projek or is daar 'n budget vir die projek of wat van jy sê ons aan mense se pay en alles, maar jy sê ons sê hoe groot is die budget van die projek nie. En as die projek 'n budget het, dan glo ek ons kan al ons mense insit by sekere plekke.
Okay.
Verstaan?
Okay, verstaan. So let me explain something to you. There is a budget. When Rian is going to present, he will share the estimated budget with all of us. That's why I didn't touch on that, because Rian is the project manager. Secondly, on sit ni mense ani, people compete for opportunities, because we are a state entity and these are state funds. It says all opportunities must be fair, it must be transparent, and it must be competitive, cost effective. So what we do is we advertise. So let me tell you again. When I say we're going to advertise, I'm going to put it in a local newspaper, a community newspaper. I'm going to give it to the ward councillor to share with the community. I'm also going to, listen, the ward councillor is going to share it. That's fine. No, it's fine. No, wait. If you don't get it, it's part of the process. I need to follow a process. So if you don't get it through the ward councillor, you will see it in the local newspaper. It will be in the record. Secondly, I'm going to post it where at Pick and Pay, here at the Civic and all the other points. One of those methods will reach you. And there's also Eersterust, Poort FM. There's also Poort FM. We can share it with them. There's also the Facebook. What is it called? Eersterust Nieuwsblad. So you see, we've got more than one communication method. One of them will reach you. So National Treasury requires me to advertise. I'm going to advertise. Then it also requires us to submit So you will need to tender, and the cheapest one will be appointed. But it will be local people benefiting. Got it? That lady's hand has been up for the longest time. I will take your hand and I will take your hand. Then I will give the project manager. Sorry, there, on your right, on your right, on your right, there. Oh, it's a gentleman, sorry. Oh, it is.
Morning, everybody.
Morning.
I don't understand the way you explain. You say 5 people from Eastland and five people from Eersterust. Because of the dynamics, it doesn't balance. One, Eastland doesn't have taxi association. To show that we don't have a balance, it doesn't have taxi association. So it's only people who were previously advantaged. So that's why I wanted to understand. And the scope of work, because if you say you're going to be 2 CLO, so you counted 5. So already I managed 1 person. That means your balance is not correct. Yes, Eersterust has taxi association. Eastland doesn't have taxi association. And I don't want to go further. Can you at least elaborate on the scope of work?
Okay, remember I said when I start, I'm going to share some things that I need to share. The project manager will deal with the technical part. So if you have a technical questions, please just hold it for the project manager. He will present just now. Is yours technical or to me? Okay, it's fine. There's a hand and there's a hand.
Yes, coming.
Those are the last 2 hands, and then I'm going to give to the project manager. Your hand and this hand. Yeah.
Program Director, I just want to make an appeal to all of us in the House. We have an agenda. For the sake of progress, there is a section for questions and answers. So let us go through the program, because when we go through the program, maybe some of our questions will be addressed within the program. So let us just contain ourselves. Let us take notes, but let us go through the program. Then some of the questions will be answered. When it comes to question and answers, then we can then ask these relevant questions. Please, for the sake of progress, because if we're going to continue this way, we're going to end up to 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock this afternoon. So, and yet, we are still waiting for people to make presentations to be able to answer those questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Amen.
Okay, so with that said, I will then ask Lishan to come first and then give the CIDB presentation. Please store down your questions. We will take it at the end.
Isabel, we're going to continue with the program. You must write your questions. So when it's time for questions and answers, we will address it. Kan nie hoor wat sê nie.
Good morning. Yeah, okay. Can you hear me? Oh, that's better. My name is Lishan Ndlovu. I am from the CIDB. I'm sure you've all heard of the CIDB. We are a regulator for the construction industry. So basically, because SANRAL is a state entity state, what happens is if you are going to engage with SANRAL as a contractor, you need to comply. So basically, I'm here to emphasize on the importance of compliance with regards to the CIDB, of course. Okay, so in order for you to be part of the upcoming projects with SANRAL, you need to be CIDB registered, right? At CIDB, we have 20 classes of works, right? So these are all the classes of works that we have. But for SANRAL purposes, you will have to register with CIDB under the CE class of work. That's the second one, the civil engineering, because you'll be working in the roads. So you need to be registered under the CE class of works. I'm going to take you through the requirements for you to be registered with the CIDB. With the current COVID situation, we are trying to limit the influx of walk-in contractors in our centers. So we have taken the online route where contractors who are not registered with the CIDB and want to register with the CIDB, they can do it online, right? So our grading process is based on a contractor's financial capability, which means we look at their finances as a contractor for us to grade them. We also look at their works capability. What this means is we will look at your profile as a contractor and check if you have done any construction works before and you have the required documents for you to be graded. So as an imaging contractor who is not registered yet with the CIDB and they would like to be part of the SANRAL projects, they will have to register with the CIDB. I think my slide, okay. So this table shows you, if you look at the grade column, it shows you from grade 1 to grade 9. So at entry level, a contractor will start at grade 1, right? So for grade 1 contractors, there are absolutely no requirements. What one needs to do is they need to have an existing company, a registered company, meaning they must register with CIPC, they must register with SARS for them to be able to register with the CIDB, right? And for a grade 1 contractor, we're saying once you're registered on grade 1, you can do works up to 500,000. So I come in as Lishan, I register with the CIDB on grade 1, civil engineering works. It means when SANRAL advertises projects under the CE class of works, they can give me projects of up to 500,000. Okay? And for a grade 2 contractor, we're saying, for you to be on grade 2, you must have done at least one project that is worth 130,000, right? If you look at the largest contract for grade 2, we are saying for grade 1, you can do up to 500,000. But for grade 2, you must have executed a project of 130,000. So it means a grade 1 contractor who has executed a project of 500,000, right, can actually move from grade 1 to grade 3. You don't, it's not mandatory for you to move from grade 1 to grade 2 to grade 3 to grade 4, no. Based on the upper limit of the tender values, you can move from, for example, from grade 2 to grade 4. Because we're saying a grade 2 contractor can do works of up to 1 million, meaning once you are done with that project, you can jump from grade 2 to grade 4, because grade 4 is 900,000. Okay. And so it goes. Okay. As the CIDB, we have what we call the potentially imaging status. So what this basically means is that entity must be 51% and more owned by a black person. So let's say there's Lishan Pty Limited and there's Tando Pty Limited. Lishan Pty Limited has 2 directors in it. There's Lishan and there's Mr. Van Oosthuizen. Lishan is a black person, Mr. Van Oosthuizen is a white person. Lishan must own 51% shares in the company for that company to have a potentially imaging status. If we turn it around and give Mr. Van Oosthuizen 51% of the shares, that company won't qualify for a PE status, right? Then there's another company, Tando Pty Limited. It's 100% owned by Ms. Sol, who's a black woman. She qualifies for the potentially imaging status. So what this status does is, it's actually a developmental tool for contractors. So let's say you are, Ms. Sol is the sole owner of the company, and then SANRAL advertises a tender to say we are looking for contractors who are on grade 2 CE, CIDB-wise, for whatever project. And then they will also have a clause that says, we are also attracting or calling in contractors who are on 1 CE with a PE status, right, for this contract. So it means Ms. Sol can tender as well because she is on 1 CE PE. She stands a chance of getting the project. A catch with the PE status is that once SANRAL advertises and is calling for contractors who are a level lower than the advertised project range. I get it, they're saying we want contractors who are on 2 CE, but we're also calling for those that are on 1 CE PE. And then the person who has the 1 CE PE gets the tender, fairly so. Then SANRAL must support that person. They must give them the full support, either financial support that they need, whatever support that that person needs. SANRAL must be willing to give that person the support. Once they put that PE status as a requirement, they know what the conditions are. They must support that person to ensure that that person will be able to execute the project successfully and within the stipulated time. So for all those that are not registered yet with the Cidb, it's advisable for you to also register for a PE status when you fill in your forms. Okay. All right, these are the fees payable for each grade, from grade 1 to grade 9. For grade 1, the fees are 450. Remember earlier I said we have 20 classes of works, right? So if I decide to apply for 3 classes of works, for example, I apply for 1 GB, 1 CE, and 1 MEPE, for example, it means I will pay 450 times 3. So the admin fee for grade 1 is per class. So if I'm applying for 5 classes of works, it means I'll be paying 450 times 5. But grade 1 registration is valid for 3 years. So if I register for a grade 1 this year in 2021, it means I will have my grade 1 active for 3 years. Regardless of what happens within the 3 years, I'll still maintain my active status. The lifespan of a contractor on the Cidb database is 3 years. So a contractor who is active on grade 1 will be active for 3 years. A contractor who is active on grade 2 to grade 9, they will be valid for 3 years, but they are subjected to annual renewal fees. If you can look at the slide, for grade 1, there's no annual fee. It's just an admin fee. This means you're active for 3 years, no annual fees will be subjected to a grade 1 contractor. But once you get to grade 2 to grade 9, you will be subjected to annual fees on a yearly basis. So let me give you an example. I apply for a grade 2 CE this year, I get my grade 2 CE. Next year, around this time, in October, I will be subjected to an annual fee. I must pay the 250 annual fee. The annual fee for higher grades, what happens is you need to confirm that there are no changes in your company that has happened between the time you got your grading and the time you are due for annual renewal. You just need to confirm that, then you pay your annual fee. For grade 2, it's 250, then it goes up. For grade 9, it's 55,000. So you pay your annual fees for 2 years. In the 3rd year, you do your 3-year renewal. 3-year renewal is for you to be able to retain the grade that you were active on. Let's say, for example, you got your grade 2 CE in October, and you got projects between now and maybe next year, October. You got projects that are worth more than the grade that you're at. Maybe you got projects that could get you to a grade 4. You execute those projects, you get paid for them, then you come to the Cidb, you upgrade. But what is important to note is that your anniversary date does not change, right? So it means even though you upgraded in November, for example, your anniversary date will always be October. So in October of each year, for 2 years, you still have to do your annual renewal. Your upgrade date does not change your anniversary date. Okay. I mentioned earlier that we are now doing things online. Not all the services are done online though. But for new applicants, grade 1 new applicants, we have an online portal that you can use, and that is the link that you can use, online.cidb.org.za // That is only for grade 1 new contractors, and for grade 1 existing contractors that want to add a class of work. For example, if I have a 1 CE and I want to add a 1 GB, I can use the online portal. 3-year renewals, I'll get back to that. There's also a new system that we're using where contractors don't have to come in. They email their their documents. So the requirements for a contractor to be on the CIDB register, number 1, you must have a CSD number, meaning you must register with the central database, okay? You must have an active bank account. You must have an active email account. I will explain how the system works. You go on the system, you open the link, it will give you a link for online registration. That's where you go and click. The system will ask you if you are already registered with the CIDB or not. So if you're not registered, you click no. And then it will ask you questions, you'll feed it with information. It will ask you for example, your email address. That is why we're saying you must have an active email account. It will ask you your email address, then it will send your login details to your email. It's basically more like online shopping. It will send your details to the email address that you have fed on the system. Then you will find your login details, your username and your password. Username, you type it in as it is, as it has been sent to your cell phone or your email account. Password, do not copy and paste. Type it in as it is, as it appears on the email, right? And then you'll go back to the link. You would have raised what we call a CRS number. So that CRS number, when you go back to the link, remember the system will ask you, are you registered? Now you are registered, but you still need to make an application. You've only registered, you've only raised a CRS number. So you put in your CRS number, it will ask you questions. What class are you applying for? I'm applying for CE. You click on CE, you click on the potential imaging status, then it will take you to the payment page. You make the payment using your card. It will send you an OTP number to your cell phone to be active on the system. We've had instances where there's contractors who, for some reason, are struggling with using their cards for payment, which is understandable. So in that instance, a contractor will go into the bank and make a payment, right? A direct deposit into the CIDB's account. That process will take longer because remember, if you follow the prompts on the link, the process takes less than 5 minutes. But if for whatever reason you decide to make an EFT or to make a direct deposit in the bank, the process can take up to 5 days. So what you do is you go, you make your payment into the bank, and then you'll email us the deposit slip, right? But the deposit slip will have to be linked to your profile. So if you haven't raised a CRS number yet, there is no way that you're going to be able to allocate that payment anyway. So you need to have a CRS number first for us to be able to link that payment into your profile. And like I said, the process will take up to 5 days before you get activated. So just so you know, there's one process that's quicker and there's one process that will take a bit of time. And that is our online portal. I'm going to go back one slide with regards to 3-year renewals from grade 2 to grade 9, because I'm not sure if we have any registered contractors in the house and those that are on a higher level from grade 2 to grade 9. I'm just quickly going to take you through the 3-year renewal process. What happens is, once you are expired on the system, you have exhausted your 3-year period on the database. You are due for a 3-year renewal now. So what we're saying is, all the contractors that have expired from 2016 in May, coming towards now, currently, we're saying those contractors can retain their grades. Again, at CIDB, we say you must give us your track record when you apply for a higher grade. You must give us your financial statements. You must give us your bank statements as proof that you have been paid for whatever project that you are executing. So let's say, for example, I have been active on the CIDB database on a grade 3 CE, but I expired in 2018, right? I don't have my documents anymore. That doesn't mean I'm not capable of doing projects worth 450,000, grade 3 projects, but I don't have my documents anymore. So as CIDB, we're saying, it's fine. All you need to do is give us an application form for a 3-year renewal, give us your basic documents of the company, your share certificate, your tax clearance certificate, your CK document if your company is a closed corporation, your 14.3 if you're a private company, and proof of payment. For grade 3, obviously, it will be 750 plus 350, which is 1,100. Then you will retain your grade. Previously, what we did is, which disadvantaged most contractors. Once you were expired, we would require you to give us track record and financials and bank statements. And because we're saying we're looking at projects that are not more than 5 years old, the completion date thereof must not be more than 5 years old, right? So some contractors will have the experience, but you'll find that when they got their grade 3 CE, it was like maybe in 2010, and now it's 2017, the completion has now expired. So we're saying you cannot be on the same grade because your completion has expired. It's more than 5 years old. We need new track record. But what if the industry was not working? What if there were no jobs? I couldn't find any jobs between 2015 and 2018, but I have proved myself in 2010 that I am capable of doing work that is worth 450,000. I actually, I do belong in this range, 3 CE range. So that was discussed, and that's why the 3-year renewal process has now changed to say, it doesn't matter if you don't have your documents anymore. Because you were awarded a grade back then based on merit, based on your documents, you will retain your grade regardless. So, so for 3-year renewals, you just email your documents to the CIDB GP email address. The process also, the turnaround time for processing has also improved drastically. Because initially for a 3-year renewal application, it would take 21 working days or more. But now it's done within a week. Like 3 days, you get your grading. I think that's it for me. Okay, just one thing. Even though this one affects most of you because it has nothing to do with the SANRAL project. Remember, SANRAL projects are on the CE class of work. But for any other contractor who wants any other class besides the CE class of work, the EB cannot be done online. So if you are looking into getting or adding an EB class of work in your profile, you can email your documents. You don't have to come to the center, because we're saying the portal, the online portal, does not cater for the EB class of work. Reason is, for you to have the EB class of work, you must have a certificate from the Department of Labor that says you are an electrical, electrical person, electrician. So you get that certificate from the Department of Labor. You don't have to certify it, because I know now everything is online. Then you email all your documents, including the certificate, to the CIDB. The process takes 3 working days, then you'll have your grading. Those are the details for emailing cidbgp@cidb.org.za. Those are the requirements for the EB class of work. If anybody wants to do the EB class of work, add or a new EB class of work, those are the requirements. Higher grades. I'm not sure if I should go into the higher grade requirements. Do we have any contractors that are registered from grade 2 to grade 9 in the house? Can I take you through quickly? No? All right, okay. All right. Okay. This is also still higher grade, which I'm not going to go into. We will take the questions when the, yeah.
Thanks, Lishan. Chair, I'm not sure. The board is supposed to, and I don't see, I think Mr. Matosa went out. Okay, must I take the project first? Okay, it's fine. So we're gonna have a presentation from Rian. He's the project manager for the Moloto Road that's coming. So Rian will give you all the relevant information pertaining to the project that's coming. Rian?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm bringing 3 projects today. The first one is phase 1. That's the one that will divide Eersterust and Eastland. The other 2 is a bit to the north of this project, but it's basically also linked in this area, and that's why we put all 3 of those projects onto the presentation. Now, that is basically just our internal project numbers. The one is 2020/1, 2021/2, and 2023/1. Now, the years at the end is normally stated when the construction is going out on tender, so you can see we're a bit behind on the first one. The other 2 is quite advanced and on track. Right? The project will be basically a small description of the project, locality, scope of work, duration, status, and possible time frames of the start and the end dates of the projects. Right, the projects, the whole road of the Gauteng section was advertised for the consulting services in 2016, and we awarded the contract to KBK Engineering in March 2016. And the estimated construction date for the first phase is November 2022. So we aim to go out on tender for the construction work around about March, April next year. That is linked if all the applications and permits is in place, environmental, mining, and all those. The new project is a construction of the dual carriageway from Stormville Road, as Shalisha mentioned, up to Baviaanspoort. Currently is that 90-degree bend in the Moloto Road. We're going to up to there. And we're also going to build a Moopel Road overpass. I'll show you in the locality map where Moopel Road is. Okay. No, it's too fast. Currently, we're sitting about here in Eersterust. Unfortunately, the projector is set up in such a way that we cut off the bottom part of the presentation. But the project will start in Stormville. we'll start here at the bottom. That is Stormful. Okay, now we must get out of this. Have you pressed something there? Okay, that is Stormful Road. So the project will start just to the south of Stormful to align it. That is Dijkorweg. So we extend Dijkorweg all the way up to the 90-degree bend that's currently there. Then most of you will be aware that where the old Gautrans maintenance camp is, there's a road coming in there. We're going to close that road and build a new section of road to be a intersection there at Dijkorweg. Then currently, there's a left in, left out there in the Sefaku-Magaku road. So we're going to build a Mupel overpass there. So that is the road that's running past the crusher. We're going to build an overpass there, and the reason for the overpass is once we start construction in this interchange, the Sefaku-Magaku and the Moloto Road interchange, there will be quite significant changes there. So that's why we will use that road as a traffic accommodation. Right, it's the construction of the R71, R573, Moloto Road from kilometer 0 to Baviaanspoort Road. It's about 2.3 kilometers of new greenfields road, as we call them. It will consist of a dual carriageway, 2 lanes in each direction that will be divided by a concrete median barrier that separates the 2 lanes. The extension of the Baviaanspoort link to a street east of the Moloto Road, construction of the Mupel overpass, and the intersection improvements at Stormful and Baviaanspoort. There will be 3 river crossings. As you know, the river that divides Eersterust and Eastland is quite weaving. We will have to build 3 river crossings there, 1 major culvert and the new Mupel overpass. The planned construction phase is 18 months, so it will be quite significantly and quickly. Okay, the cutoff at the bottom. The status of the project, we're in the design stage. We're in the final design stage, so all the plans, everything is in place. We're just waiting for the final approval of the environmental and the mining permits and all those. Right. I see the presentation just doesn't contain the big question that was in the room earlier. It's the estimate. What's the project value? The budget at the moment for this phase is 525 million. The opportunities that will go out to the community is 30% of that. So let's work on 500, is basically 150 million. That will come to the community via supplies, SMME opportunities. So the budget is 525 million. So the opportunities is concrete drains, curbs and channel, fencing, guardrails, pedestrian walkways, culverts, gabions, landscaping, just to mention a few. And then on all these opportunities, you must be registered as CIDB, with the CIDB to do work for SANRAL. The bottom one we added, supply. You don't have to be registered at the CIDB to do the security, supplying of diesel tipper trucks, supplying of cement bags and all those. But you must be registered at, I think it's COIDA, if I can remember correctly, for the security company. As I mentioned, possible start date that we are going to start with the work is November 2022. It sounds far, but it's not far. A year is going by very, very quickly. So get your paperwork ready, check the newspapers, just to get out to the people that was mentioning this morning that they never get the information. Once we've advertised and appoint the contractor, you'll see there's August 2022. That's when the contractor has been appointed. Then he got 3 months mobilization period, what we call mobilization period. In that 3 months, he must advertise, get all the paperwork ready for all his suppliers, all his subcontractors before he can start work. So we don't give him access to site if all the appointments haven't been done and finalized. Right, let's get on to the next project. That is the upgrade of the Moloto Road just past the China Mall. There's also a river crossing there. It's from there up to more or less the railway line. That's the railway line. And then the construction of the PWV2. Now the PWV is a new term that I don't think you're familiar with, but that's where the N4 joining the N1. From there we will construct a greenfields link up to the Moloto Road. That's about 3.6 kilometers. And it will join just south of the police station, it will join the Moloto Road. So there's also a 3.6 kilometer greenfields road with a 5 kilometers of the Moloto Road. So this is quite a busy drawing. Now that is the new greenfield sections from the N1 to the Moloto Road. That's the Moloto Road. Up to the interchange is more or less here where the Sefaku-Magaku interchange is. Then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bridges that we were going to cross the Moloto Road. We're also going to build the internal road network. As you can see, there's quite a lot of work. Currently, that filling station, I think it's a Shell, with a gravel road is running there. We're going to deviate that road and do the access control. So all the people from Zambezi up to the railway line, I think the railway line is there, but up to the railway line, will not have direct access onto the Moloto Road anymore. The main purpose is to change the Moloto Road from let me put it that way, to a high mobility road. So the whole Moloto Road from Stormfoel right up to KwaMashlanga will be divided with a concrete barrier in the middle. So you must give all the people access at bridges and build internal roads so that they can have access to the Moloto Road at designated areas. Now, as I mentioned, the upgrading of the Moloto Road from kilometer 4, it's basically the Sefaku-Magaku just north of there, to the just north of the police station, dual carriageway, 2 lanes per direction, divided by a concrete median barrier. Construction of the PWV link from the N1, N4 up to the Moloto Road. And then the urban interchanges is Divar Street, Sakabuka Avenue and Marula Road. And then we increase the capacity of 1 bridge, 1 major culvert, 1 new overpass bridge and 7 new interchange bridges. The construction period for this project is envisaged at this stage as 30 months construction period. And then the big question, the cost. The budget for this project is 1,250 million. Excuse? $1.2 billion. Now, why I say it in thousands is because there's a difference between billion and, but some people think it's 1,000 million, others think it's a million. That's why I say it's 1,250 million, 1.2 billion. It's only for that project. The same apply for the subcontractors, as I mentioned previously. Then the tender period, we aim to tender in September, end of September next year. Award to the contractor in February 23, and the start of the contractor in May 2023. It's not that far in future, it's 18 months from now. Sorry?
My apologies, that's fine. I just wanted him to share information pertaining to Eersterust in Eastland because he's going further up into other communities. So the further he goes into the presentation, it's Kwamhlanga, it's affecting other communities and not affecting. Yeah, okay. So that's what I wanted to do. I wanted him to stick to projects affecting Eersterust and Eastland.
Now this is close by. This is basically from Eersterust. The start of this project is 2 kilometers from Eersterust. So the bridge kilometer, the interchange stopped at, the first project stopped at kilometer 2.3 and this one started at 4.1. So it's 1.5 kilometers from Eersterust. This project that I just done. And the next one is basically the interchange. So that's the one in blue. So the first project, just to come to the locality, Eersterust is here. Then it's the big interchange. It's only the upgrade from kilometer 2.4 to 4.1. So all this work is basically only the interchange work to be done. We will elevate the Moloto Road to go over Sefaku Magaku with a interchange at the bottom with all the traffic going underneath that bridge. So it's the upgrade, as I mentioned, of kilometer 2.4 to 4.1. The upgrade of the Sefaku Magaku Road itself from kilometer 0.2, that's from the N1 to kilometer 1.6, that's just past the spar. And then the interchange with the diverging diamond interchange. The increase of the capacity of 3 river bridges, 1 new river bridge and the interchange. The construction again is 30 months period. The time frames is to start advertising in May 2023. The appointment of the contractor in October 2023 and the construction date envisaged at this stage is January 24. The budget at the moment is 750 million for this project. Right, that's the 3 projects to lecture, and then I'll hand it over to Oakley. So once I'm finished with my project, Oakley will take over and he will do the maintenance on those projects.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Oakley van Eyck. I'm a project manager at SANRAL, and I'm responsible for all the routine road maintenance contracts within Gauteng for SANRAL. As you can see here, the roads that we're talking here about today, the affected roads within City of Tshwane is the N4 Section 1, N4 Section 11, N4 Section 12, N1, R21, R104, and the R573. Now, today's discussion is with regards to the road maintenance of a section of the R573 that Rian just mentioned, and that will commence in the financial year of 2023-24. Now, here's a map of all the roads that is in the city of Tshwane. We're not going to discuss all of these today. We are only talking now about the contract of Rian. Now, maintenance of these roads started on the 1st of December 2020, and they all end in 30 November 2023, which will run for 36 months. Thereafter, the new cycle of road maintenance contracts will continue again for another 36 months. Now, the anticipated budget for the normal road maintenance contracts on all these routes is in excess of 100 million rand. Now, currently, the main contractor that is appointed on this road is Via Roads, and the consultant is Ndodana Uarona joint venture. Now, as I just discussed, today's meeting is about the section of Rian, that after completion of this 2.5 kilometer section of road, will RRM, that's a routine road maintenance contract, they will take over the section of Rian, and they will start with the road maintenance contract and the maintenance activities that is on that road. So as you can see here, this is the city of Tshwane. In total has around about 185 kilometers of road within the city of Tshwane, and on the Maloto Road, that section from 0 to 2.4 is the newly section to be constructed that we'll look after. Now, when we look at the scope of works, there's a whole list of items that road maintenance will be responsible for by the contractor or the subcontractors. Now, just to summarize a few of them that's important is the main contractor will put out contracts to subcontractors to do maintenance on these roads. Now, typical items that we are looking at is like vegetation control items, where people will be mowing the grass, cutting trees, a poison that you'll have to put, pavement maintenance, including crack sealing, pavement repairs, fencing will need to be done, drainage maintenance, all sorts on the maintenance contract. Now, when we start off with this contract, the main contractor, together with SANRAL and the consultant, we form, as Julexia said, we form the project management team. So basically what happens then is we look at the entire road section, we look at what type of work packages need to be put out to the subcontractors, and we look at what type of packages will be sustainable for them. So what we typically do is we put out a vegetation control package, we put out a general maintenance package, pavement maintenance package, which will include a lot of these items, as you can see in this scope of work list. So, and that will be then put out to all the targeted enterprises. Now, the subcontractor tenders that we will be putting out will be for 1 and 2 CEs. It will be for 3 and 4 and 5 and higher grading designations. Now, looking at the contract participation goals, with the new road maintenance contracts that will start on the 1st of December 2023, the contract participation goals will, if the main contractor is bigger than 51% black owned, then 60% of the work will be sublet. If the main contractor is 51% black owned, I made a mistake. The first one, if the main contractor is less than 51% black owned, then 60% of the work need to be sublet. If the main contractor is bigger than 51% black owned, then a minimum of 50% need to be sublet. And then if the main contractor is women black owned, then a minimum of 40% of the work need to be sublet. Now, there is also sub-targets for the subcontractors. For a 1 and 2 CE contractor, a minimum of 10% of the contract will be sublet, of the contract amount will be sublet. For a 3 and 4 CE contractor, a minimum of 20% of the contract will be sublet, and for a 5 and higher contract, there is no minimum sublet value. Now, it is important to note that during this 36-month contract period, training opportunities will be given to the subcontractors by accredited training facilities. Now we'll be looking at, for instance, training the subcontractors to do traffic accommodation, to do vegetation control, chemical control, that type of thing. So we are really using, we're assessing the needs of the subcontractors, and then by that we're getting accredited trainers to assist the subcontractors. It's also important to note that we will be appointing a dedicated mentor on site that will be assisting all the subcontractors on their day-to-day running of the contract. They assist them looking at how are they operating on the ground, are they making money, yes or no, and we are basically trying to make the subcontractors sustainable in terms of their contract. So we don't only want to grow the subcontractor, we want to grow the subcontractor in terms of his Cidb grading, as mentioned previously. So we want the 1 and 2 CE to grow to a 3 and 4 and 5 and basically have a sustainable subcontractor. Now, from my side, that's all. I just need to mention that a colleague of mine, Sipo Ntedana, is not here today. He's our electrical engineer from SANRAL. And there will also be lighting on this section of the Maloto Road that Rian spoke about. Now, Sipu is the project manager from SANRAL, and he'll be running the electrical contract, and there will also be a maintenance contract for the electrical that will come out. And I assume, I think when we get closer to the time, we'll have more engagements, and then we can discuss that further. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Oakley. So as Oakley mentioned, his responsibility is to see subcontractors growing from a grade 1 to a grade 2 to a grade 3. My responsibility is that when SANRAL is done with the project, the community should have changed. They should be changed that I can see with my own eyes to say, SANRAL came, empowered the community. The community is now in a better position than it was before SANRAL came. That's my responsibility. So I'm now going to ask one of my board members, Mr. Matosa, just to come and share a word from SANRAL. And then once he is done, we will then take questions and answers. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you, Program Director. I'm not sure whether is it still in the morning, but greetings to everyone. Honorable Councillor Benjamin, thank you for gracing this gathering, sir. The Chair of the Board, Mr. Mahambi, and Mr. Makubela, my colleague, who had to quickly go out and attend to something extremely urgent. I heard that, Chair, we've got traditional leaders here. We recognize you, and thanks for being represented in this meeting. Ausendlovu, from Cidb, our project managers, and who also made presentations. Political parties, if there are any here, we recognize you, and we are very thankful that you made time to attend this meeting. Community members, business people, ladies and gentlemen, as I've said, I'm extending my greetings to you. I am not going to religious leaders. Religious leaders, how do I forget you, my pastor? You know, these are very important people in our lives and communities, but we often decide to forget them. And if you do that, you must know that you are not going to be successful for a long time. Yeah. You may be successful temporarily, and your victories are going to be short-term victories. Without God, there is no life. Thank you very much. My sincere apologies for mentioning you at the bottom end of the people and organizations that I had to recognize. As I've said, Chair, I'm not going to be very long, but I'm going to share very, solid information with this gathering. SANRAL is a state-owned company under the Department of Transport, which is currently led by Honorable Minister Fikile Mbalula. Now, as the board, we are a board responsible for the success of this entity. We are not and will never be in competition with the leadership of government. We are implementing the aspirations and the decisions made by the current government. Having said that, one of the decisions that the government has taken is to create jobs, Honorable Benjamin. Now, jobs cannot and will never be created where there are no people. They can't be created in the sky. They have to be created in the wards where our people are staying. And as this board, under the leadership of the chair, we have taken a resolution that we can't be the board that is only meeting during board meetings. We can't be a board that only meets the officials of SANRAL and other important people. We have to be a board that interacts with communities where SANRAL has planned projects, so that we can hear the concerns and frustrations of these particular communities with an intention to intervene where possible. But our intervention, Chair, will not be an intervention that deliberately, violates our own rules, our own policies, any government law. We can't do that. The least we can do is to listen to you and wait for an open window when our policies are being amended to accommodate, the views of the communities. We have been, almost all over South Africa, talking to communities. I can assure you, Honorable Benjamin, your community here is not the only one that has got problems. It's not the only one that has got challenges. But then in creating these jobs, Chair, there must be compliance. Firstly, we create jobs with an intention to leave the communities with certain skills. And if you've got a skill, it then means in future you will be able to be employed. You will be able to create your own business. And when such opportunities come, then you will be able to participate with people or companies of your grade. Now, we are here, Chair, to prepare these communities, Eersterust and Island. Yeah, I forget the other one. You said it's Island. Yes, that's the intention. And for us, Chair, to be able to create these jobs, we had to ensure that we develop policies. Amongst the policies that we have developed is a policy on transformation. Transformation is to redress the imbalances of the past. We know that other communities were excluded by law. If I may quote one act, the Group Areas Act. You will be a South African, but you won't be allowed to go to other areas. Now, when we attained our democracy, when we got appointed, we came with that in mind. But then you can't do these things emotionally. You must have policies that are guiding you. And policies must not, isolate others. It has to be policies that seek to redress the imbalance of the past and create some form of equality. Now, this transformation policy seeks exactly to do that. In trying to create a balanced share, we said in the construction industry, the older people will, those who are older than me, will know that there was something called a Big Five in construction. Companies. Big Five. And that Big Five is not a Big Five that just mushroomed. It's a Big Five that was created. It's a Big Five that was assisted. It's a Big Five that was sustained. Now, do we still want that? The answer is no, we don't want that. As SANRAL then, under the leadership of Mr. Mahambi, we said, our goal is to create more Big Fives. And these Big Fives must be in the communities that were isolated. And as we are in this trajectory of creating Big Fives, we must not isolate the existing ones. Now, that is exactly what is happening. That is exactly what we are going to do. Because without us state-owned entities doing that, there's no one who's going to feel that he or she is free. You will still go to the same people and ask for jobs. Whereas some of these jobs are cutting, right across, or some of them, are on your own street. But then you still have to see people coming as far as Western Cape. You still have to see people coming as far as KwaZulu-Natal. Whereas there are people here with skills, and there are people who can do some of the jobs that are done. That is what we want to change. And if we cannot change that, we have told ourselves that we would have not been successful in transforming the industry. Chair, that is not without challenges. That is not without challenges. There is resistance. Those who have been benefiting since are feeling that, they are being isolated. Those who want to come in see the process as being slow, see the process and those that are in institutions dragging their feet. We're saying we are moving with the necessary speed, but as we move forward, we must not commit the same mistakes. Everyone must feel accommodated in South Africa. So we are saying, Chair, if you happen to be a grade 1 Mamudlov, that doesn't need any requirements. I need to show Jalums. Now, you've got a grade 9 that has got an ability to compete nationally. This grade 9 comes and compete with grade 1. Now, I'm not sure how will you be able to call that. Yes. And it literally means that grade 1 will never ever grow, or that grade 1 will not be able to get any job. And then the intention of creating jobs and transforming the industry somehow gets get distracted. We're saying there must be an equal competition. Grade 1s must compete with grade 1s. No grade 9 or whatever grade. And we are saying, when people decide to form a joint venture, that joint venture must be recognized. Pastor, you will somehow agree with me. In biblical terms, when a man decides to marry a woman and they become wife and husband, they become one. But in mathematical terms, 1 + 1 is 2. Can you see this contradiction? Now, we want to say 1 + 1 must be 2. And those grades must be recognized. When grade 1, decides to create a joint venture with grade 4 contract, that is grade 5. And that must be recognized. That's the transformation that we are saying we should embark on. The other thing, when we got appointed, there are companies here that were doing, routine road maintenance that you are responsible for. At some point, we were told that there were 3 in the whole Republic of South Africa. Now, if 3 companies, only 3, can be responsible for the whole country, that resembles a crisis. We said, no. There must be many of those. And I can assure you, demonstrating the demographics of our country. That is what we want. But then as we are seriously moving forward to transform the industry chair, we come across challenges that are making it a little bit impossible to fully transform the industry. Our brothers and sisters are allowing a situation where they are made extension of others. You, ma'am, you win a tender, and you only win that tender because all your documents have been inspected and we found that you are qualifying. Whereas you are fronting. It's you in front and there's someone at the back who's benefiting. And this particular person doesn't want to be seen because he or she has been benefiting since. Now, how do we deal with that? That is what, in fact, Chair, once we find out that you have given us an information knowingly that is not true and correct, we disqualify you immediately. And we ban you for some time from getting tenders at SANRAL. In fact, I think what we need to do is to go deeper, Messal, and talk to the banking institutions. If we really want to change South Africa to be what we want it to be, all of us, the banks must also assist us. Because you will be fronting and we will not know. But then when we go to the bank and say, here is Matosa's company, it has won a tender worth 500 and what? 1.2 billion at SANRAL. We want to see the signatories in this account. That we must go as deep as that. Now, if the signatories, this poor soul, not you, this poor soul has been made a front, this poor soul is the mirror of the organization, this poor soul doesn't know what is happening, this poor soul is treated as a worker, not a director. You're getting paid. And the pay is determined by the person whom you're making money for. Whereas on paper, you are a director and you've got a joint venture. We are requesting communities and business people not to do that. Because you will say there is no transformation. Things remain the same. Whereas you are not assisting us. We are requesting you to refuse to be used. We are requesting you to refuse to be used because you are not going to grow. You will not know even what is happening on site. Now, that is our request, Chair. The other thing is that when you get a tender, I know it's nice to drive a big car. I know it's nice to live in a very big house. But please, our advice from the board of SANRAL is that spend your money. If you are grade 1, you get a contract that is worth 500,000 and you go and buy a car without buying machines and equipment, you are destroying your company. These big cars that cannot even load a wheelbarrow are not meant for emerging contractors. Hulle moet bakkies koop. Hulle moet bakkies koop. So that you are able to transport your own equipment. So that you are able, to buy your own machines. Let me tell you, the bulk of the money of those that are still growing goes to the machinery. Because you will go and hire, what is that thing, a TLB. The bulk of the money goes to the owner of the TLB. You had a contract, you decided to buy, these cars that met the Ville achter. Hulle gaan nou nie help nie. Hulle gaan nou nie help nie. They are just going to assist you to spend more on fuel to an extent that you are not able to pay even your own employees. Then you die before you start. You become history. They say, if you die in, het begin maar het nergens gegaan. One step, fall down. That should not be done. Invest heavily on your tools so that when you tender for another job, you don't go and hire everything. And then you make a little bit of money, then you start, buying a hatchback of these big cars so that you can also be seen that, now he's in the besigheid. We're not saying remain poor, colleagues, but we're saying please spend your money where it matters most. Wisely and for you to grow. The last thing, Chair, that we want to leave this gathering with is the responsibility of the steering committee members. Diamonds plowns, some of them. Instead of taking the information where it has to be taken to, they give it to their friends first. If they have to call meetings, they don't call meetings, they don't communicate. They communicate with the few. And that causes problems for the projects. Projects get disrupted by people who are not doing what they are supposed to be doing. And as they participate as steering committee, project committee members, they also want to put in their proposals first. And if they lose because there is non-compliance, they go and agitate communities. They go and mobilize, saying that project manager did not appoint me. SANRAL did not appoint me. SANRAL did not appoint us. They have taken someone from somewhere, whereas there is non-compliance. And the painful thing, Chair, is that the young ones who don't know anything, who don't even aspire to be business people, are being used in the process. People, students are being taken away from classes to block the project. But before that, Pastor, they get given liquor so that these old people who see that this thing is wrong and they can't do it themselves, they also blind these young ones with liquor. And projects get disrupted, contractors get penalized because each project has a commencement and a completion time. The upcoming businesses do not learn anything, and also they also get affected in the process. People who can't even ban papers in their own yards, they come and ban our roads. Now, we are pleading with you. Project steering committee members, be honest. You know, I'm talking now, there's no one who has been appointed. I'm just preparing you. Don't be confused by these figures and develop appetite. It is enough for all of us. Let us be prepared to cut a certain slice and a certain piece. Let us not be jealous for each other. Let us be able to work together. let us be able to assist each other. Let us be able to be prepared to go together. Because if we don't do that, other people will come. You know, even local procurement, I'm telling you, you know, it's not a bad thing to be a millionaire. But the bad thing is, how do you become a millionaire? If you become a millionaire through theft, through corruption, through disruption, you are not going to enjoy that money. 1.2 billion. It's a for this project, you said it's about 500 and, you know, we're talking millions. We're talking millions of rands. And we can be able to share. We can be able to see that and be able to tell others that, you know, SANRAL was once here. And when there was construction of this particular road, that is when I was able to be a true business person. Without that, there will definitely be no good news to tell. With that, program director, I think we will be able to move together. We will be able to, you know, you are very lucky. Here's a person coming from this same community. She is plowing back. Please do not disappoint her. Please, thank you very much for...
Thank you, Mr. Matosa Galebo. Okay, I just wanted to share two more things and then we'll take questions and answers. The first thing is, for you to do business with SANRAL, you need to meet 3 requirements. You must be registered on the CSD, which is the National Treasury's website. You must be tax compliant, meaning you must be registered with SARS. Then you must be registered with Cidb for grading. 3 things, minimum requirements. And I know it's simple and it's straightforward, but I tell you, it's the 3 things that kicks people out mostly. So please, you know you've got until March because we're going to appoint the main contractor. I don't know if Rian shared. What's the grade for the main contractor? Grade 9. So if you're in Eersterust and you have a grade 9 company, please compete for the main contractor's opportunity because the main contractor can come from anywhere in South Africa. That's what National Treasury says. So you are seated here, you have a grade 9, or you know of somebody that knows of somebody that knows of somebody that has a grade 9, empower them, give them information to compete. Secondly, subcontracting will also require the same information. So you need to meet those 3 minimum requirements. So you're seated here, you want to do subcontracting, please make sure that you comply. Then the other thing that I needed to share, this project will have a CSI component to it, meaning there's a corporate social investment. The budget has not been confirmed yet. We will have that discussion. But once the budget has been confirmed, I will need to split that in the Eersterust community and also in the Eastland community. So that will be a discussion we will have as the project is continuing. But I just wanted you to know because we will come back to the community and engage about what corporate social investment does this community require. And we will then plow back to the community as well. Those are the 2 things that I wanted to mention. Okay, so I'm gonna take 5 hands at a go. So I take 5 hands, we give feedback, then I'll take the next 5 hands, if that's fine. I just wanted to inform the people standing at the back, there is chairs here. you can come and have a seat. There are open chairs. So let me see by a show of hands. Here's hand number 1, hand number 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, those will be, it's like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then I'll take the second round. So we're just going to deal with the first round.
Morning, my name is Novina Pillay. I see as a lot of young people. I just want to take this opportunity to say rise to our youth and take this opportunity to register a business so that you can start benefiting from projects coming to Eersterust. Let this be your start and register a company, and then we take it from there. You never know, you might just be one of the people that get a tender. Thank you.
Afternoon, my name is Clivan Olifant. I just have a question regarding skills. I noted that you guys said that you would skill some of the people in the community. As I can remember, I worked also on a SANRAL project for Trico Science and Mining. They were in charge of, I think it was the region of Gauteng, road marking and the installation of the signage. And what they did was they sent us on a lot of training, but never gave for the guys that worked from Eersterust. They never handed them any sort of certification that indicated that they have the experience to work on roads. So my question is, would SANRAL come with the same program to like upskill the young guys, giving them the opportunity to have a certificate after the whole construction is done? Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is William Jacobs. First of all, I'd like to thank SANRAL for the inclusion. Your documentation is excellent. Your scope of work, your high-level documents, I am extremely impressed. What I need to, however, would like you to re-look at the CLR or the CLO, the 5,000 that you would like to allocate. I think it's a little bit below market. I think for a project of this nature, we are Eersterust, and Eersterust is Eersterust, and Island is Island. So try and re-look at that. You have allocated 10,000. Why you have to split that, I don't know, but I don't think it's industry related. Secondly, I like to say, we need to prepare ourselves as a community and get our documentation prepared. I stand here as the chairperson of the Eersterust Community Business Forum. In case you don't know, we were democratically elected by this community. So we would like to help you, because within our business forum, we have people that have high gradings, even up to grade 9. And we have people that was prepared to help you with your documentation. So be kind enough to contact us, and we will be more than willing to try and help you. But once again, SANRAL, I am very much impressed, and I like the idea, sir. I forgot your name. Mr. Majaba. Sorry? The gentleman? Yeah? I'm pointing to you, sir. What's your name? Matosa. I like what you were saying, is that you would like to create more big fives. I like that notion. So that's what we like to see born in Eersterust out of this project. You are not only giving Eersterust a fish, but you're also teaching them how to fish. Thank you very much.
Hi everybody, my name is Chris Baith. I just want to take the opportunity to inform SANRAL about a platform that the community doesn't even know about. The launch is within maybe the next 2-3 days. And I also just want to excuse all the leaders of Eersterust because they are formally invited on this platform, but it's a community platform called eComNet, e-communities network, is the full name. But what it consists of is modules like an online forum, but you guys will read about it when you go online. But as for the SANRAL project, it benefits the business sectors quite well because if you look at the democratic, in marketing you have a target market and there's segments like democratic, which if any communication has to be done on this platform, I heard Clayton spoke and I've got Benjamin here. So it's a place, we have a forum where where they can, the 10 or the 5 for committee. So those are the kind of things that can be discussed online. It's transparent. Hence, we don't want swearing and those kind of things. So there are rules and policies. But SANRAL are going to leave now today, but then there's going to be a gap, and people are going to forget about it. But as for this platform, it's quite useful. So this will keep you updated. If SANRAL, I invite them, so I cannot force them. There's other platforms. There's Facebook, you name it. But we got a gallery. We got a news module. We got newsletters in this platform. So you guys will see in the next 2-3 days. You'll learn about it. But I just wanted to take the opportunity to talk about it so that SANRAL can know about eComNet, e-communities network. And thank you very much, guys.
Mrs. So, I'm just going to ask regarding the learnerships and bursaries and empowerment of young people. Because since this program has started, nothing has been mentioned about it. And I understand your programs have already kicked off by giving young people learnerships, bursaries, and I believe it's closing very soon. So, since you are here in this ward, how are you going to empower the young people regarding that? And also, I want to ask a question by the Cidb. I want to ask the Cidb lady. Some of these young people are registered on the Cidb, and when opportunities come, they don't reach Eersterust. That's the problem. We are registered, but opportunities come, but they don't reach Eersterust. And I just want to say, man, young people are very important. Let's not be excluded. And also, I believe you guys are going back to speak about your PLC, your steering committee and everything. But also, I want you guys to look into those who don't have companies in this ward. How can you assist these young people to empower them regarding, because we have Dingan, we have a person like Dingan who's registering these young people for CIDBs, SMMEs, all those kind of scope. So we're saying if you can get a person like that on board, then you take few young people, you uplift them. When the project kicks off, then they're also ready. That's all we are pleading. Okay.
Okay, thank you. I will then address some of the questions. Some of the questions will be addressed by my board. Some of them will be addressed by Rian as the project manager. Some of them will be addressed by Lishan from CIDB. So the first question I will deal with will be the compensation for the PLO, because that's under my department. So currently, as we stand, the policy was amended last year to say that before we used to pay them 6,000 rand, we have now increased it to 10,000 rand. That's the current policy that we're using. And unfortunately, we can't change the policy here. Policies are changed in meetings and where the board comes together. So I have noted the suggestion. I will put it forward so that they can then discuss it further. Is it fine? Thank you. Okay. There was also the other question that I wanted to deal with was about the yes, bursaries learnership. Yes, that's also under me. So the reason why I didn't bring it up, because it just closed now on the 30th. I had a workshop where I did workshop schools within Pretoria and stuff. I gave them the application forms. But for those of you who are seated here with kids that are still going to high school, so if you are, if you have a child that's in grade 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, SANRAL has scholarships for you. So what we do is you apply. That means we look at how do you then qualify for that. It means you must come from an unemployed background or a poor background. So we want to assist you financially to send your child to school. So there's tuition fees instead of, we pay the school fees, we pay the textbooks, we pay any other material that the child might need, like equipment. We also, if the child is in a boarding school, we will pay the boarding school, and we also pay the uniform for the child. So that's the scholarship, and you can get the application form because it has just closed now in September. So it will open again next year, June the 1st, and it will close the 30th of September. So you've got enough time now to prepare all the documentation. So what you do is you just go on our website, you will find scholarships. So it's www.nra, which is National Roads Agency, .nra, National Roads Agency, .co.za. You go under scholarships, you read the requirements, and then you fill in the forms, and then you send it back. And then there's also bursaries. So you are seated here, and you have a child that needs to go to university, or they might currently be in university, and financially you also need assistance. So your child should have passed matric with an average of 60%. They can study anything relating to transportation. So if you look under the fields of transportation, your child can then apply for any of those curriculums. So we will also assist you if you meet the requirements. So those that are deserving, and you know that your child is a hardworking learner currently in school, you can also go on our website, which is www.nra.co.za. You just click under bursaries, you read. If you meet the requirements, you then apply. The applications will also start opening on the 1st of June, and it will close on the 30th of September. That's scholarships and bursaries. Then we also have learnerships. So currently the learnerships that we have is just catering for those that have studied engineering. So if you know of a person from Eersterust that has studied engineering, finished it, but has no background of the practical experience, we have the learnership program. So you can also apply for the learnership program. It's also on our website as well. We also do provide training to those that will be employed on the project. So the training part, Rian will address that one. I think I've covered everything. I'll now give to the board, I'll give to Rian, and then I'll also give to Lishan to answer some of the questions.
Thank you very much, Julexia. And thanks to all the people who've made comments and asked questions. Because your comments and your questions help us as the board and the management of SANRAL to understand what the thinking is out there And therefore, what must we do to try and improve some of the things we are doing? There isn't much to deal with, Julexa. You've dealt with the main issues. But I want to talk about this skills development. And I want to talk about it because I don't know many things, but I know a lot about skills development in South Africa. Government established what we call your sector education and training authorities. Those are SETAs. And SETAs are a third layer of training in South Africa. The first layer being your higher education, and you're talking your universities and universities of technology. And I'm talking post-school education, by the way, here, over and above your normal schooling up to matric. And then you've got your TVET sector, your technical, vocational education and training institutions. And then, of course, you've got SETAs, your sector education and training authorities. That's the layer I want to talk about. That particular layer is designed in such a way that you've got, of course, your learnerships, you've got your apprenticeships, and you've got your internships. And therefore, a student who has been trained in engineering but still requires some experience would then be able to apply to be in an internship. And one who is still being trained in technical skills and so on and needs a trade certificate would then do your apprenticeship, where they would be trained and they would go for trade testing at Indlela, which used to be the Olifantsfontein Trade Test Center. And then you've got your learnership, where a person without any form of training will get some theoretical training. And that theoretical training, if I remember well, is about 30% of the training. And the rest of the training is in a workplace. Now, having listened to what people are saying here, this is my view. That is SANRAL, what we need to now do is this, Julexia. That we must insist that in every project that we have, we must have a skills development component, part of which must be a learnership, where those young people who are just idling about and so on can be taken and be given theoretical training and then be placed in the very project so that they get practical and workplace training. Now, our government came up with that particular approach in order to try and alleviate part of the poverty that you find in some of the communities. Because the learnership or your internship or your apprenticeship comes with a stipend. There is a stipend that is attached to that, so that while these young people are getting this training, they also get paid. It is not too much, but if people are clamoring for the 350 rand that we are getting right now as part of government's intervention during COVID and so on, I know that stipends, the least you can get is 1,500 rand a month. And therefore, it's absolutely crucial for us as the board of SANRAL to take that decision that every project of SANRAL's must include a skills development component, and we make money available so that these young people can be trained and they get these stipends. The relevant SETA, and in this case it's the construction SETA, of course, would be in a position to join forces with us because it then provides the necessary certification. And this is the kind of training we call accredited training, so that after the young people have been trained, they've got a certificate that they can use to try and get employment, or they can go on and set up their own businesses. I think that is something we are taking out of this meeting, and as the board of SANRAL, we shall ensure that it happens. Thank you.
Yeah. No, it's fine. Check it out, Pumula. Thank you, Chair. So, you know, normally I will take it here and I will take it to my CEO because I report to the CEO. And then the CEO will take it to the board. But because the board chairman has already announced on it, you can then say it has been approved. So we will just implement. Okay, so Rian is saying he's been covered by the chairperson. But what I wanted to ask Rian is, does he have a budget for training and development?
Yes, all our contracts, the conventional contracts, got the training. There's 3 components. I can't remember everyone. It's technical, engineering, and I think it's skills. So all our contracts got a budget for that. And most, if not all my contracts, do have a skills development component in that we take in people to give them skills. So on the big contracts, yes, it's not written there, but we do it. And I also normally don't allow any training if there's not a certificate issue at the end of the day. And most of the contractors wants to do training that's only applicable on that contract. So once the contractor is away, that skill have been learned, but there's no, you can't do it because it's for curb laying, guardrailing, and you can name all of that. Maybe Oakley can take over that, people that have been trained in that. But I would normally prefer to do training to leave a legacy behind in the community, that the skills that they train, they can apply in the community.
Thank you.
With regards to the question of opportunities, let me explain it this way. Cidb is a regulator, right? And we have client departments, your government departments. So Cidb will regulate, for example, we are a regulator for SANRAL, for the projects that SANRAL is giving out. So SANRAL will be your employer. Department of Public Works, for example, will be your employer. So if you look at what is happening today, it is in itself an opportunity. SANRAL is the only organ of state that I have worked with that will pilot and go to the communities to inform them about upcoming opportunities. Other departments, they'll just advertise in your local newspapers. You'll just see it in the local newspapers without them coming to the communities. SANRAL is giving an opportunity to communities for them to be involved in whatever projects that SANRAL has in the future. So with regards to opportunities, you have to check your local newspapers, your national newspapers, but what I'm trying to say is I am commending SANRAL because they don't just advertise. Before they go to adverts, before they go to the local newspapers, they will engage with the communities. So for me, that is an opportunity. So in response to your question, CIDB does not offer any projects. We regulate the industry. For you to be able to get involved in the projects, you must be registered with CIDB. So you check your local newspapers, you check your national newspapers. Fortunately with SANRAL, before checking, they will come to you and inform you way ahead of time to say, this is what we are going to be embarking on. Get yourselves ready because there will be lots of opportunities for you. Thank you.
Thanks, Lishan. Okay, so I just wanted to add on what Lishan has now said. So I'm thinking, so that we are all on the same page, I think it will be better when we have our SMME workshop, I then bring CIDB to come and explain to you, to workshop the people, and I also bring SARS so that on the day, maybe CIDB and SARS can bring their trucks, their mobile trucks, and you can register as well. So that you don't have to go to them, they can come to you. I think it will help. So, Rian, when you have your SMME workshop for this project, let's start working on that and see how we can invite the two important agencies and if they can register the people here on site as well. Yeah, so we will do that, we'll initiate. I just wanted, before we take the second run, to inform you, lunch is already here. So maybe if we can keep it short, so that we can then go out and have lunch as well. So I'll take the last round of questions. There is a hand, there is a hand, there is a hand. Here's a hand, there's a hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At the top? Nothing, cool. So those are the 5 hands. I've noted. There, yeah, I've noted him. I think we can start with him because he was in the other round and I think okay. Yeah, let's start with him. My apologies.
Yes, we missed him.
My apologies. You also want to go, sir? Okay, noted.
Sir, my name is Al Mubarak. I just want to ask you, there's actually 2 questions. The one is your grading. Let's say, for instance, you've subcontract under grade 5, for that matter, and your financials show that you spent, the project was, that you did was 150 plus. Right? And then during that year, you've got another project that you did. Are you going to count them for every year for the next 3 years, or is it collectively? And then...
So he's, just hold on, I just want to tell her what you're saying. He's saying he got a project for 150,000 rand, and it happens that he gets a second one. Do you look at each project or do you look at it collectively? Got it. You can continue with your second question.
Second question is what most small companies, they've got lots of issues with payment systems. So I just want to know, like, if SANRAL is, what is a payment system? How does it work? So we can start planning better also in financial assistance, where do we go to and so on.
There's a hand just in front of him. There was a hand there. Here. Here. Okay.
Goeiemôre. Ek wil nie eintlik vra nie. Maar al wat ek wil sê, ek het gehoor die meneer sê, hulle het gegaan vir training, ook deur julle mense vir die borde, of whatever hy gesê het, en hulle het nooit die sertifikate gekry nie. Al wat ek vir julle vra is, laat ons jong mense, of wie ever van ons mense op julle training gaan, nie deurgaan wat hulle deurgegaan het nie. Was het baie nou nie, hulle gaan hulle name ingee en training kry en op die einde van die dag sit hulle nog weer sonder sertifikate nie, dan is die project is klaar, julle is weg, ons is hier, dan is maar net 'n wit papier wat maar net daar lê. So ek vra asseblief, gee julle ons samewerking, laat dit nie gebeur nie. En al wat ek vir die dame sê, baie dankie, jy is van Eersterust af, jy is die eerste een van Eersterust, wat hier kom en wat jy geleer het, en wat jy dit terugbring vir ons. Maar laat dit nie net hier eindig nie. Laat ons ook môre kan sê, die dame het 'n verandering in Eersterust gebring en gemaak.
Thank
Dank
you. Will do. Baie dankie.
Who's
There were
next?
hands here. Here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Kan
Is
ek
your-
vra dat julle net julle hande opsteek dat ek kan sien wie's next, né?
Okay.
Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. So, my question goes back to the training and development. The majority of the Eersterust youth that's unemployed or that's not studying are students that didn't do exceptionally well at school, that didn't maybe achieve the 65% and above. So, what happens to those students that, because of the whole COVID situation, everything that's happening, that didn't do exceptionally well at school, that's unemployed, that needs training and development? What can we give those students that will assist them to develop skills that we can allow them to also get job opportunities in Eersterust? Because now we're only looking at students that perform exceptionally well. But what of those that did pass matric, or those that have grade 11 or didn't complete school? What about those people or those youth that can't get jobs, that's not employed, that needs assistance in terms of training and development?
Got it. Then there's hands here on the left-hand side, and then we'll go to the back.
First of all, from my part also, Julicia, is it right? I just want to thank you.
Julexia.
Julexia. Thank you for your commitment and your contribution towards uplifting the community and the lives of the people in community. We appreciate it, and we appreciate your contribution that you are making. The question that I want to ask is that how is this road going to benefit the road users of Eersterust? As you know, there's in the morning there's a congestion in terms of the exiting, and even in the afternoon there is also a congestion when people come back into Eersterust. So how would this road, you understand, benefit the road users of the people of Eersterust? My second question is, the whole participation will always be a thorny issue, because I know that you do not make changes to the policy, but you can influence the policy. And the contributions that or the questions that we are raising, or the proposals that we are raising, is for you to influence the policy. And the reason why I am saying that is that you have, and I know you have about 10 interest groups within Eersterust that you've mentioned. And you have now decided you have 5 steering committee members that need to represent these 10 interest groups. Now, my problem is that we can argue in terms of our political stance, but you cannot argue with my experience. And I'm talking on behalf of the military veterans. Our experience has always been that we were being excluded. And the reason why we are saying our participation on the steering committee is of utmost importance. You can maybe try and narrow the scope. We don't necessarily want to be part of the 10,000 rand benefit. But what we want to be part of is to be part of that steering committee, so that we can carry the interest of the military veterans, because we've always been excluded. So that's why we are saying we don't want the money. We just want to be part of the decision making and the representation of the military veterans. The other reason why I'm saying is that normally and usually when people are elected on a steering committee, they are already sitting on 4 or 5 other committees. You understand what I'm saying? Because they're popular, because yes, they make, but you understand, they still vote to say, I'll sit on this committee. And at the end of the day, you understand, we will not be fully representative. Because people will be elected and they said, yes, I'll sit on that committee, knowing that they sit on other 4 committees and they won't be able to fully represent the interests of the interest groups within Eersterust. That's why my proposal is that we should also be given an opportunity to be able to represent the military veterans. Because of that reason is that along the way, you'll find those people no longer, you'll be able to be committed or dedicated or representing the interest of the military veterans and the other groups.
Noted. There's the hands at the back. I think we are done here. There's the hands there at the back.
Good morning. Goeiemôre almal. Ek is Benny. Is net een vraag of 2 vrae wat ek wil vra. Die learnerships of die accredited training wat gekry gaan word van die employees of die subcontractors wie almal involved gaan is hierso. Is it possible? I would like to believe that it's possible for I know there are some people in Eersterust that are accredited
Service providers.
Service providers in that regard of training and all of those things. Will they also be used to be part of that thing? All right, that's the first question. And then other one is the bridges that's going to be built. All right, I know for one that bridges are normally been they have names. Like this is the Mandela Bridge, this is the what bridge and the what bridge and the what bridge. So my question will be based on that. It's something kind of like a ownership on these bridges that are going to be built. I don't know if you already named them or is it in the maybe in the near future will be.
So you want to know who will determine the names of those bridges?
Yes, man. I would somehow make it straight known to everyone that I would like my name to be one of those bridges there.
Hala.
And last but not least, the importance of people living with disabilities being part of this project are of utmost importance. That's why I say it again. I don't think there's enough emphasizing on this. We should make sure that it goes through. The infrastructure of the bridges, the roads, for people living with disabilities, being part of it, well then I believe it will send out a message to say that alright, we that using wheelchairs or crutches or whatever type of thing to move ourselves is part in that structure. That's basically what I just want to bring
Got
to
it.
the attention.
Thank you. There was a hand just behind him, and then behind him, and also the gentleman in the wheelchair. Okay. Yeah.
Hello again. I just want to emphasize on the issue of the gentleman of the military veteran because I asked the question. My question was, we are talking about the 2 communities. These are the one who it was benefiting in the past, the one it was not benefiting in the past. So I don't want to go deeper in politics and whatever. Because of you say 5-5, so me I don't see 5-5. Because of one, the community that it was advantage, they had a chance in the past. They don't have a department of transport, whether taxi association or whatever. So how are you going to balance it? Because of, I think if on the steering committee, you have to at least empower 2 youngsters on our side, because of that side, it don't reach the amount that you said is 5, because of some other issues that I can go deeper on it.
Thank you. There's the last question just behind him, and then we will answer. And current
situation.
Right, good afternoon. Hashtag current situation. So I have two questions, please. My first question is, why is these meetings always held when all of our community members are at work? Yeah? Most of the people that is living in this community is now currently at work. So why are these meetings always scheduled during the day when some of the people that want to attend cannot attend due to availability? So that's my first question. My second question is, what will be the safety aspect of that road coming through Eersterust or wherever it's going to be situated? What will be the safety aspect of that? Because that will pose a high-risk situation for the residents of Eersterust. So as you guys know, yeah, safety is a big issue here in our community. So that will definitely also need to be mitigated on your steering committees moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, so there is the last question, the gentleman in here. Okay.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Trevor. I think it's a question that I'd like to ask. This is with regards to participation. I think they have already iterated on it with regards to participation for persons with disabilities. As it is important, and I was listening to the minister, I think about a week or 2 weeks ago, when he was opening a road or taking the president through a road that has been built in Mpumalanga. I think one of the key things that he mentioned was the targeting of the community within that area where the road is being built. And one of the things that really stood out for me was how and what he said with regards to participation of persons with disability, military vets, women, and youth. Not that he was excluding other designated groups. The question I have is, since the budget has been drawn, what percentages have been allocated to each designated groups? That's number one. Two, what mechanism are you going to put in place to ensure that all designated groups participate fairly, equally so? That would mean, as per legislation, you have a 3% that is coming in now for persons with disabilities, and you've got X amount of companies that are disability owned. Now, is SANRAL going to give guarantees to say companies of persons with disabilities will perform and their budget to perform on SMME packages, say the 3% is 30 million, they will perform and get that 30 million in terms of participation? Is SANRAL going to do that? That's number one. Number two, we humbly and request that in the steering committee, it has been said before that we request that a person with disability sit in the steering committee to ensure that our request or our demands or rights are met in time. I think the one other thing, sorry to be long. The one other thing, trying to go back to the gentleman that raised the issue with regards to military veterans and representation on the steering committee and interest. Maybe this should be a turning point where SANRAL starts implementing things such as looking at the point of reference with regards to those who are sitting in the steering committee. Because what happens is most of the time, they sit in the steering committee, there are opportunities that are coming and they are unable to bid for them, or CLOs, where what happens is it would either go to what the chairperson said or the board member, that said, they will, instead of speaking to the community, they'll speak to their friends. But if they are given if there is a change in the point of references with regards to them doing business as well, I think that can eliminate or alleviate a couple of things. Socioeconomic development, I heard you touch it. I just wanted to find out as well. The road that is going to be constructed now, how was the demarcation done? Is it not going to cause interruptions when the project starts, where you've got other communities around that road, like I think it's Lydiana or something, I'm not sure, what is it, opposite Eastland, and you've got Waverley as well, you've got Montana where the road passes, and those communities are part of the communities that need to benefit from that road.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to now answer on all the questions. I will answer some, the board will answer some, project manager some. Don't think, was there a question for you, Lisha? Okay, cool. So I will start. The lady at the back that asked, why do we always have sessions like this during working hours? As you can see, I'm also at work, so this is part of my work. So that's why it's during working hours, because I'm also at work. I don't know if it makes sense. I can't have it after hours because I also need to be at home, but I'm also at work. That's why it's during working hours, because I'm also at work. And then someone else will answer your second question. Let me come back to you then to say, I have noted your cries to say we must include military veterans, we must include people with disability, will need to do is to say, okay, let me go and have an engagement with the Eastland community. Then I'll see which stakeholders they have in Eastland, and then we'll need to balance it out that way. Again, I'm saying this project, let me give you an idea. You see, when you come from Daikor, you get to a T-junction where Stormfall is. That's exactly where the project is going to run through that open field between Eersterust and Eastland. So those are the only two communities that are affected by phase 1. No other community. Because it's running directly between Eersterust and Eastland. So I'm saying that I will need to have an engagement with the Eastland community because this project is split up 50-50 between the two communities. Got it? Thank you. Someone else will answer the other questions that you had. There was a question here about how do we do payments. I think the gentleman left. Oh, you're still here. If you are a grade 1, we pay you within 14 days, and it's guaranteed. If you are grade 2 to grade 9, we pay you within 30 days. That's also guaranteed. SANRAL doesn't miss any payments. We pay contractors on time, and we expect them to pay their subcontractors on time as well. So if you don't get your payment on time, you escalate. And escalation most of the time always comes to me when you have a dispute within the PLC or with the project manager. Then we sit around the table and we come up with solutions as well. You also had a question about, not the payments. Okay, Rian will answer that one about gradings. But, oh, Cidb, but there was another question after the city, how do we do the payments? Okay, it's fine, but yes, okay. So as part of transformation, what SANRAL has is, we signed MOUs, which is agreements with big companies that provide equipment. So that's the financial assistance. So what you do is, once you get a tender from SANRAL, you take your tender document, so you can go to Bell, Caterpillar, Barloworld, Crashtag, Witgen. Those 5 are the biggest manufacturers of big equipment that we use. And that is the assistance that you need, because you are a starting up company, but you don't have capital. So what you do is you take your document, they will give you those equipment at a rate that SANRAL has negotiated on your behalf. So you don't need to do anything. So that's the assistance that SANRAL has does as part of transformation as well. Yeah. There was a, yeah, clap hands, man. You know, Lishan did say that SANRAL is the only company that does what we are doing. Because I don't want you to be caught off guard. I want you to be well prepared so that you can reap all the benefits that need to come to you. So I don't want you to say, wow, did you see that SANRAL advertised, and then someone else says, oh, they already appointed. I don't want opportunities to pass you by. So I'm saying you already know that the main contractor will be appointed in March. You've got time. You've got a grade 9. Start preparing. Get your documents in order. Tender. You never know. But also you've got time to prepare your companies for subcontracting. I don't want you to say SANRAL came and worked and we didn't benefit from it. I'm here to say I want to ensure that you benefit. So also the question about the steering committee, it's complex, but we can resolve it. Hence I'm saying, let me have an engagement with Eastland, and then I'll combine the two and we'll have a discussion together with the communities and have our PLC in place. But the PLC that we will have your interests at heart. It will not be people from other communities that don't even know what you are facing. It will be people from your community that you would have nominated. And if you see that you've nominated someone and they don't do what they need to do, you can remove them. You can replace them again with someone else. So we're giving you that leverage to say, as long as you are for me and you're fighting for me, I will put you there. But once I see that you're not doing what you need to do, I'm going to remove you. Okay? So I'm going to now hand over to the board if they want to add anything. Rian, do you have something? Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much once more, Julicia. Just one or two things that we've noted. There was a question about those students who do not necessarily, who may not have done exceptionally well in their studies. You know, the learnerships that we were talking about are meant exactly for people like those, because most of the qualifications there are your lower level qualifications. So that takes care of that. And then there was a question about accredited training providers here, if they would be engaged to do the training. And indeed, that is the idea. You cannot go to Mpumalanga and bring a training provider from there to come and train people here, when you do have accredited training providers right here. So that takes care of that too. And the question about the meetings being held when other people are at work, Julexa has already answered one part of that. The other part is this. The people we are targeting are not the employed. It is the unemployed. And the people we are targeting are business people who are able to leave their businesses to come here because you must come for these opportunities. So that's the reason why they are held during these times. The question of disability and whether there are guarantees, because that's how I hear the question. Are there guarantees that the component that is reserved for disability is going to go to people with disabilities? The answer is yes. What happens is that the allocations in terms of work, there will be a certain percentage that is strictly reserved for people with disability, for example. And SANRAL has got mechanisms in the procurement process to ensure that indeed for subcontracting, if there's a particular percentage that's reserved for women, it goes straight to women. One for disability goes to people with disability. We jealously guard the allocations that we must make to designated groups, because that is government policy. We're a public institution, we must make sure that government policy is implemented, because the monies we have are not privately ours. They are public monies, and therefore we must use them in line with the prescripts that government has set for us. So thank you.
Yeah, to come back to the targeted enterprises, there's a clause in the document of that 30% that the contractor must sublet. There's sub-percentages breakdown in that to the targeted groups, women, military veterans, and people with disability. Now, if the contractor goes over the 30%, he gets a bonus. But then we also measure him in that targeted groups. And if he missed one of those targeted groups to get to the percentage of those sub-targets, he don't get the bonus. So it's in the contractor's best interest to make sure, and the PLC to assist us to make sure to get all those targets, to meet those targets. In other words, if a person with a disability tender, he gets a preference points also to get to the next stage. Military veterans get bonus points to get to the next stage, to assist those targets to be met. Then there was, just on a lighter note, I think it's the person representing the military veterans, you mentioned that 10,000 for the PLC. The PLC members get way less than that. It's only the CLO, the liaison officer, that gets the 10. The stipends that we pay the PLC members is 500, if I'm not mistaken. It's not a salary. It's just to compensate you for attending the meeting, to get to the meeting, using your own transport of that. So that's 500. So once you hear that, most probably you don't want to sit on the PLC, unfortunately. And the 10 is just to make sure we don't sit in a meeting with 30 people and take the whole day and we can't get to decisions. That's why the policies say we limit it to the 5, that we can get to the points, discuss the points, and finalize it within that day that we have the meetings. And then again, there was something on the steering committee that looks for the family members or friends to do. There's a disclosure of interest that we always, in my case, on all my meetings, we read the disclosure beforehand. If you got vested interest in this project, and we found out later that you benefit your family members or yourself indirectly, we will take steps against you as SANRAL. So if you sit on the PLC, you're representing the community. I normally say, in my own case, that's my personal point of view, I don't work for the government. What's the English word? I forgot it now, but I represent the communities. I'm a public servant. In other words, that's the word. I serve the public. I'm not here for my own benefit, I serve the public, and that's the main thing of the PLC. If you sit there, you're representing the community. You're not there to look for opportunities. So you must take the decision, and we also normally say, councillor, no ward councillors will be on the PLC. And also in 2 of my projects, currently there's 2 persons on the projects that is candidates in the election. And the meeting that we had last week, both of them said, I've got vested interest now. End of November, if I've elected, I will excuse myself. So that's the point of view. If you got vested interest, don't nominate yourself for the PLC, please.
Thank you, Rian. You know, I think we need to clap hands for Rian more, because you didn't hear what he said. He said, if we go over the minimum 30%, it's a minimum, so we can go higher, the contractor gets a bonus. So you didn't hear, so I think clap hands for him, man. There was a question about how is the new road going to assist the community of Eersterust in terms of traffic. Yeah. I don't know what happened to your traffic stops, lights, what happened? Because all of them, all of them are out now, so it's a stop and go. Yeah, no, they're non-existent anymore because I don't know what happened to them, but yeah. Okay, so Eersterust community will have a direct access to the Moloto Road. So you don't need to drive, because remember previously we used to drive to Eastland and then we go around and then we join it there by Plantation. So now you'll have direct access to the Moloto Road and it's quicker for you. So you don't need to use the long road, it's quicker access to you. But please guys, with that said, stop destroying infrastructure. No, it's a serious concern. Yeah. No, but on a serious note, I know that we are all aggrieved because even where I'm staying, there has been power cuts on a regular basis. But I can't now go and burn down the power station because I need that. I can't go and burn the school because kids need the schools. I can't burn down the municipality because that means where am I going to pay my water and lights? I'll need to go to town. So let's use a different way of communicating with government. I know we are all frustrated, but let's not destroy infrastructure because we need it, guys. Please, man. Okay, so Lucian is going to be the last speaker, and then we're going to close the session.
With regards to combining projects, that was the question. Okay, as Cidb, what we're saying is, when you come and register, we look at the largest project that you have executed. Then we grade you based on that. But we also have what we call nominated contractors or nominated subcontractors who will be having agreements with certain departments. So they will be called as and when they are required. And let me give you an example. Let's say, for example, you are a nominated subcontractor for the Department of Public Works, right? They call you today to come and do some general building maintenance. Obviously, they'll give you a purchase order for that type of work. Then they call you in 2 weeks' time to do the same scope of work, but for a different building. In such instances where there is an agreement and you are a nominated subcontractor, we are able to combine those projects because they have the same scope. Even if they are executed at various times, various venues, we will be able to combine those type of works. You will obviously have different purchase orders for the different times you are called in. You will have invoices where you invoice the client department. We will combine those purchase orders because you are a nominated subcontractor or a nominated contractor, and the type of work that you're doing, the scope is the same. So we will be able to combine those. So basically what I'm saying is, if you are doing maintenance work, we are able to combine because usually it's like small projects, let's say small projects for about maybe 120,000, 70,000, we will combine those. But where the project is a specific project for a specific time, they say you are appointed to do this type of work, which will start on the 21st of August and it will run until, there's a set period and set budget for that. We don't combine the projects. Thank you.
Thanks, Lishan. We're going to now do the vote of thanks. It will be done by the councillor. Okay, Rian, the expert, will give you an answer.
Benjamin Williams.
Benjamin, unfortunately, 99% of the time, the bridges is only named after the road that goes over that road. And most of the bridges on this project is river crossings. So nobody would see your name if it's under the bridge.
Sure, that's deep, huh?
And secondly, the bridges is normally named after important, famous politicians. Unfortunately, not my name will never appear on a bridge. So,
Okay, but within SANRAL, there is a policy that guides how the bridges are named, and we just follow and implement policies as well. Thank you.
Any nominations for Benjamin Williams Bridge can be sent to Jalexia.
Benjamin, kan ek gou iets sê? Imagine jy sê ek het nou net oor Benjamin gery.
Okay. Thank you very much, Program Director. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we can agree that this was a successful first attempt on this project and information and engagement. But we have to thank the people that have put this thing together. I'm going to start with the board, the members of the board present, Mr. Mahambi, Mr. Matosa, Mr. Makubela, the members from SANRAL, our program director, Ms. Jalexia, Oakley and Rian, Lishan from Cidb, and then Blueprint Agency that have put this whole thing together, that have managed to put this event together, and Ankole events as well. And from our local suppliers, Black TV for the sound and the system here, and also the projection, Mr. Regan Adams, the photography, John and Kai Party Supplies, who are supplying us with the food you're going to enjoy, and then from City of Tshwane, from the office of the Speaker, Mr. Russell. I forgot your surname, sir. Yes, yeah. And then also Bethel from the Speaker's office, and one of our own homeboys, who is in charge of security in the Speaker's office. You all know Mr. Snyder's over there in the orange. Yeah, so it's not just one person from Eersterust that have, that's reaching heights as well. So anybody else that I haven't mentioned, please, thank you for your contribution. I have mentioned them. Yes, I have mentioned the caterer. We're supposed to say thank you after the food, but we'll say thank you before. And then Jalexia, thank you for coming back to your own community. And everybody, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for staying up to the end. And hulle gaan die brug na een van ons noem, maar ons gaan nie ons naam sien nie. Please enjoy the day further, and I think we can go and have lunch. Am I right? Yeah.
Okay, just an announcement. You know, there's something that I forgot. Chris mentioned that he's running a website, and we can use his website to communicate. So I'm thinking, Chris, we can have a discussion with Rian as the project manager, because I think people need constant communication and updates about where we are and what's the next process going forward. So you're quite relevant. I'm just thinking, and Black TV, there's also Black TV. So there's a whole lot that we can use here in order to communicate with our communities. The food is outside. You can grab your food. Please don't socialize. Just grab the food and then you can go. But thank you very much for attending. And this won't be the last time you're seeing me. We'll be back again. Thank you.